Drake is hungry to go round 2 with Kendrick Lamar.
Round 2 is coming. Round 2 is coming.
Kendrick just topped off a blockbuster summer by announcing he'd be headlining next year's Super Bowl halftime show. After delivering a chart-topping knockout blow with Not Like Us and an insane victory lap with his Juneteenth pop-out concert in LA, this Super Bowl announcement is just the latest example of Kendrick stacking up win after win against Drake. Drake just last year claimed that he was big as the what? Big as the Super Bowl. And that one didn't age too well. But Drake's latest moves show that the beef is far from over.
Big as the what? Big as the Super Bowl.
At first, Drake really seemed like he wanted to put the beef behind him. In the immediate aftermath of Kendrick and Drake trading disses, Drake hinted that he was eager to turn the page and focus on something else. On May 12th, just a week after Kendrick released Not Like Us, Drake put up an Instagram story that featured a drawing of a samurai warrior facing down an army. The story included the caption, "Good times, summer vibes up next." The message seemed pretty clear. Drake was downplaying the back and forth between him and Kendrick and wanted to move on. Drake's first post-beef appearance was on Sexy Red's song, You My Everything, which dropped on May 24th. The song even featured a section where Drake rapped on the viral BBL Drizzy beat that was cooked by one of his newer ops, super producer Metro Boomin.
BBL Drizzy, they want a new body, they asked me for it. The last one, John, he did it for free cause I sent over so many passwords for him. But
then on June 4th, Drake released a strange collab record called Wagwan Delilah with Toronto artist Snow Day.
Wagwan Delilah, no, I'm late cause there's bad traffic. I just showed my dog your gram.
The song was so left field that a lot of fans were just confused. A video surfaced of the Plain White T's themselves listening to the song in disbelief that Drake actually recorded it. Then on June 9th, Drake quietly deleted all his posts on Instagram that referenced the beef, including posts that announced diss tracks like Family Matters and The Heart Part 6. Drake really seemed like he wanted to put as much distance between him and the battle as possible. But when Drake pivoted to those summer vibes he was talking about, he didn't quite get the reaction he was looking for. He recorded 2 songs, Hot Uptown and Ugly, with Camilo Cabello, but when the album finally dropped, it sold a disappointing 36,500 copies, debuting at number 13 on the Billboard charts, which is Camilo's first album to not chart inside the top 10. Adding insult to injury, DJ Head, an industry insider and longtime associate of Kendrick Lamar, implied that Drake blocked Camilo Cabello from releasing Hot Uptown as a single because he was worried about how being on a pop record would look while he was in the middle of a rap beef with Kendrick. Plus, Drake was using another fake Jamaican accent on the song, adding even more credibility to Kendrick's attacks on Euphoria. Drake also dropped a 2-pack of songs with the EDM producer Gordo. While the songs Healing and Sideways received positive reviews, neither tracks were released as singles and neither one of them managed to chart on the Hot 100. Since Drake's summer vibes weren't exactly panning out, he decided to pivot in a really dramatic way. On August 6th, Drake surprised everyone by promoting a new platform called 100 Gigs. The website featured a treasure trove of unreleased Drake content, including 3 new songs, studio footage, tour rehearsals, and unused cover art. With a whopping 100 gigabytes of material to sort through, 100 Gigs featured a rare behind-the-scenes look at Drake during some of the most pivotal moments of his career. In one clip, Drake can be seen discussing the 2016 song Too Good with his mom, where he confirms that the song was meant to be about his ex-fling, Serena Williams. Just weeks later, Drake decided to re-up on a whole new data dump on 100 Gigs. Not only did Drake put out another 3-pack of songs, but he also dropped even more never-before-seen footage. While this avalanche of new material at first seems like a random hard drive dump, 100 Gigs is actually way more curated than you might think. In fact, a lot of this archival footage seems like a way for Drake to shape the narrative around his beef with Kendrick. In one clip, Drake is seen listening to an unreleased beat with his longtime engineer 40, where the two of them discuss getting Kendrick to do a verse on the song.
Oh, but when he told me Kendrick, it just made so much sense. Oh, this is brilliance.
Drake even released soundcheck footage of him and Rihanna performing their hit collaboration Take Care, which seems like a pretty pointed shot towards his former collaborator turned enemy, turned Rihanna's baby daddy, A$AP Rocky. But Drake's provocations to restart the beef were a lot more direct in his new music. While Drake avoided naming names, his 100 Gig songs packed numerous references to his various beefs. On It's Up, Drake linked up with Young Thug and 21 Savage and seemed to fire more shots at A$AP Rocky. After dissing Rocky on Family Matters, Drake seemed to have spun the block again, rapping, This not only seems like a reference to Rocky's debut album Long Lived ASAP, but a callback to the internal strife and tragedy that has plagued Rocky's now defunct group ASAP Mob. Not only did founding member ASAP Yams pass away of an overdose in 2015, but Rocky's currently facing criminal charges for allegedly shooting ASAP Rocky in 2021. 21 Savage also sparked controversy for lines that seem to target Kendrick Lamar. Since 21's a close collaborator of Drake and was name-checked by Kendrick on Not Like Us, theories started to go viral that Savage was inheriting Drake's beef with Kendrick. However, just a day after the song dropped, 21's team clarified to DJ Academics that Savage was not dissing Kendrick and the whole thing was just a speculation. It seems no matter how tight 21 is with Drake, he really does not want all the smoke. Drake seemingly referenced the beef just a couple weeks later when he dropped No Face, a collaboration with Playboi Carti. Drake seemingly addressed his former allies turned ops rapping. To break it down, Drake not only seems to be calling out artists like Kendrick, Future, YG, Rocky, and The Weeknd, who he previously worked with, but also promoting the theory that Kendrick's record-shattering Not Like Us streaming numbers were juiced by bots. On No Face, Drake even teased that he was plotting to attack Kendrick again. Even doubled down by posting a clip on social media that featured former Detroit Pistons player Rasheed Wallace promising to win Game 2. But is Drake's new strategy with 100 gigs pure genius or pure desperation?
But, I mean, we could kind of look at this as kind of an antic, no?
By uploading new music to his 100 gigs website and Instagram, Drake pretty much bypassed the traditional release model. Instead of dropping new tracks directly on the streaming platforms, Drake seems to be trying out a mixtape strategy to preview his big comeback. These new songs are intended as standalone singles like Lucy's and intended only for fans. While songs like It's Up didn't initially premiere on streaming services, they were later uploaded to platforms where they put up impressive numbers. It's Up pulled in 2 million streams in just one day, landing at number 28 on the Hot 100. But it's totally possible that Drake would have put up even bigger numbers if he debuted the song on streaming platforms directly instead of on 100 gigs. So what is the master strategy here? It's possible that by releasing music on 100 gigs and then putting the songs on streaming, Drake is avoiding being directly compared to Kendrick Lamar's blockbuster numbers for Not Like Us, which is still in the top 10 with 17 plus weeks on the charts. It also gives Drake an opportunity to soft launch his music for core fans. Instead of targeting a broader audience, Drake can still release his music without the kind of scrutiny that might come with a high-profile comeback rollout. It also meant that some of Drake's new music isn't exactly cleared for official release. His new song, Blue Green Red, was removed from streaming because of a copyright dispute over the sample. And when No Face landed on streaming, it was missing the Playboi Carti feature from Drake's 100 gigs release. But this release strategy isn't new territory for Drake. In fact, he's been doing this his entire career. Some of his most well-known songs like Hotline Bling to 0 to 100 and Summer 16 were all released non-traditionally instead of being dropped as official singles. While that might seem counterintuitive for an artist that focuses so much on numbers, it also gives Drake a chance to connect organically with his fan base and build buzz without worrying about trying to top the charts. When you add up all the songs Drake's dropped recently, and we haven't even mentioned some of them like SOD, Circadian Rhythm, and Housekeeping Knows, you basically have enough songs for a whole album. This strategy basically makes it intentionally difficult for industry insiders to keep up. It's almost as if he's waiting for the right song to hit big so he can stage the takeover of the charts. While all this is going on, Drake's new maneuvers have come with some criticism. After Kendrick called out Drake for being a colonizer towards Atlanta artists, many fans noticed that Drake was still leaning heavily on A-Town rappers for support, since Young Thug, 21 Savage, and Lotto are all featured across the 100 gigs drop. By avoiding an all-out chart battle with Not Like Us, Drake still hasn't dodged the allegations that he's trying to fire shots at Kendrick without directly engaging him. But it's hard to believe that anyone, especially Drake, was ready for that announcement that Kendrick would be headlining next year's Super Bowl halftime show.
Did you know Kendrick Lamar's performing at the Super Bowl?
What?
Kendrick famously appeared at the 2022 Super Bowl in LA alongside Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and 50 Cent. But his upcoming appearance in 2025 makes Kendrick the first solo rap artist to ever anchor a halftime show. Not only is this a history-making accomplishment for Kendrick Lamar and his company PG Lang, but it's also yet another chess move in his war against Drake. On First Person Shooter, Drake's chart-topping collab with J. Cole, Drake bragged about his team up with Cole as being as big as the Super Bowl, only for Kendrick to swoop in and literally grab the halftime show for himself. The announcement that Kendrick would be performing at Super Bowl 59 also came with some blowback. Lil Wayne, Drake's longtime mentor and label boss, was widely seen as a top contender for the 2025 halftime show in his hometown of New Orleans. Charlamagne the God spoke up on The Breakfast Club saying that while he was happy to see Kendrick hold down the halftime show, a Lil Wayne headlining slot would have probably guaranteed an appearance from Drake himself. And that is definitely not happening now. Not to mention, the announcement triggered a pissed-off rant from none other than Nicki Minaj, who defended Wayne and insinuated that Kendrick's selection was all part of a conspiracy instigated by none other than Jay-Z's company Roc Nation, which works closely with the NFL to produce the halftime show. Finally, Kendrick's halftime show announcement came with a pretty obvious rebuttal to all the talk about Drake making a comeback. In the promotional video, Kendrick says straight up,
"You know, it's only one opportunity to win a championship. No round twos."
It sounds a lot like Kendrick heard all that talk about Drake wanting to re-up for Game 2 and choose violence. Did Kendrick's Super Bowl announcement throw another wrench in Drake's game plan, or are we just moments away from seeing tensions escalate all over again? Only time will tell, but make sure you stay tapped in with us to hear it here first.
5 threaten to shoot Kendrick Lamar when he catches him in his hometown. Is Kendrick's life in danger the next time he goes to Toronto? The last thing you think would happen is Kendrick Lamar getting into a shootout in Canada over a rap beef with Drake. But the boy's alleged shooter says otherwise. Top 5, a local Toronto rapper, is inviting Kendrick to Toronto so he can have a meeting with his bullets and get Swiss cheese. And he's gonna do it LA style. But all that talk didn't go without some of Kendrick's people responding to it. Now, there may be an all-out war happening, and Top 5 says Drake may be a part of it firsthand. Ever since he was released from jail, Top 5 has been on a crazy media run, specifically to threaten Kendrick Lamar and anyone riding with him. He's clearly not afraid to potentially get in more trouble for sending violent threats at anyone after already beating a murder charge in Toronto. If he stays free after everything he's been through, there could be a chance he keeps his word when he runs into Kendrick. But what are the odds of that? Kendrick Lamar usually stays pretty low-key when it comes to public appearance. He definitely popped out and showed everyone that he's willing to go bar for bar with anyone, including one of the biggest artists in music. Top 5 is trying to prove to everyone that he will do the same in defense of that artist. Will it actually go down? Top 5 may think so. He showed up on a show to talk about what he wants to do to Kendrick. He says he wants to Swiss cheese him after he and Drake get together to do their homework on everyone involved in a Not Like Us video.
Ain't no scared.
Scared of what? Kendrick Lamar?
Yeah, you're scared of Kendrick?
Tell him come to Toronto. Swiss cheese.
Toronto rapper says he isn't taking any disrespect when it comes to Drake. Since he and Drake are locked in so tight, he's gonna make sure he keeps his name and dignity as high up on the totem pole as possible, even if it means catching a murder charge for him. Inviting Kendrick and anyone with him to Toronto so he could do a drive-by shooting on him is definitely a choice of words after what he's been through. Top 5 was released from jail after beating a first-degree murder of an accounting student. What's weird is Toronto News, and even the judge on the case, says the student had nothing to do with gangs or anything. So really, it was just a senseless act of violence. Unfortunately for the victim and his family, there wasn't sufficient evidence to lock up Top 5 for the charge. He spent 3 years in jail after cutting off his ankle bracelet and fleeing to Los Angeles before being caught. He revealed Drake helped him with his lawyer fees and even showed a screenshot of a conversation between them where Drake was extremely happy everything worked out in his favor. So now he's on the loose with all the threats he has for Kendrick Lamar. People close to Kendrick aren't feeling Top 5 threats like that. One of Kendrick's neighborhood friends, hitter J3, is inviting Top 5 to do whatever he says he's gonna do. They even got on the phone and had a few words with each other directly when academics connected them. To put things in perspective, hitter J3 revealed he's the cousin of Orlando Anderson, the guy who allegedly shot and killed Tupac. He was even riding with Anderson's brother at the time of the call. So all of that was to say he is not someone Top 5 wants to play with. Just for comedic relief as well, Hitter J3 posted a video of Top 5 being punked by some people in Toronto before being threatened to get shot the minute he tried to puff up his chest. So the fact that he's talking so tough, especially bragging about the murder he did, while also having that type of ammo against him, doesn't seem to scare Hitter J3 or anyone else for that matter so much. And there's a chance it doesn't scare Kendrick either. What's the chances of Kendrick Lamar visiting Toronto now that the beef has reached this point? Top 5 dares Kendrick to go to the same Chinese restaurant he rapped about, New Ho King, so he could really see how gangsta he is. New Ho King is the same Chinese restaurant Drake got robbed at years ago while he ate. Kendrick says he would be at that restaurant with food and a blammy just to show that he's the wrong one to play with. Unlike Drake. Maybe that's where Top 5 believes everything will go down at. If he's down with catching another charge, then more power to him, I guess. But if there's one thing we know about threats, it's that it can cause other people to get hurt too. And in this case, if Top 5 isn't around to stand on his threats, then whoever else in OVO that decides to march around LA could get touched too. We've already seen Rick Ross get touched up by some random guys in Canada when he visited and tried to walk around like the big Don Dada while Not Like Us played. Who's to say the same thing can't happen with anyone from OVO?